everyone, if you do or don't know me, my name is Wavey and I usually make Sims content on YouTube. Today we are working on my personal legacy, which I am on Generation 4. Now this family, sadly, I've stopped playing, but when I did play, it was a ride. Anyways, if you guys noticed from the thumbnails, they're getting more like fall themed or like Halloween themed, I guess, because it's getting closer to October and I want it to be October already. I currently have a lot of builds backlogged, but whenever I get them all out and we can actually start getting fresh things out, I want to start uploading more of like fall themed homes. Also, if you guys haven't checked out my legacy challenge, it will be linked down below the playlist, and also you can see in the little corner and basically what that is you click in there and hopefully it should have the playlist of the legacy challenge. Now I'm currently filming episode 3, but the reason it hasn't come out yet is because there's a lot of stuff happening in that episode and those videos take a really long time to edit. And as someone with the attention span of a goldfish, I do not have time to sit there for like 4 to 5 hours straight editing that. Anyways, this is actually a legacy home, so I do want to touch on the base of the home. As I mentioned earlier, I don't play with this family currently, but when I did, it was literally so much fun. So this was a Generation 3 home, as you know from the title. But anyways, it started off in the legacy with Lila Morrison, and then she got married to Jules Rico, which comes with the Equal Lifestyle Pack. Then together they had 3 children. The oldest is Indigo, and then they had Indy, they're twins, and then they had their 3rd child, Ivan. Ivan then got married to Tyler, I don't remember her last name. Afterwards they got married, they had 2 children. The first one is Anaya, which is the era for the next gen, and then they had their 2nd child, Anita. Now Anita, when she grew up, she got married to Alexander, and then they currently have 3 children. Their oldest is Benny, and then their 2nd is Bailey, and then their 3rd child is Ben, or Bentley. So the reason I actually stopped playing this legacy is because I didn't really make it that interesting whenever I got to Benny, which I chose for the next heir. The kid was kind of a goody two-shoes, and then The Sims 4 that gets very stale very quickly. But anyways, moving on from the family, I am so excited. I built this new build today. It is a colonial home that is fall inspired, and I love fall so much, so I was so excited to actually use fall decorations in this house. That's mostly why I made it fall themed. But the house is so pretty. It actually might be my all-time favorite house I've ever built. But to be honest, I say that about every build, so maybe not. Anyways, here I am just cluttering and decorating the front room. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't use many paintings in this home because when you're 3 generations in, you already have a ton of photos of your family. At least for me, I like taking a lot of photos to remember it. So I didn't really have to use the paintings in The Sims 4. Also, something really crazy happened to me today that I thought would never happen before. So Kelsey and Peach K came up with a new challenge with The Sims 4 called the 100 Bae Challenge. This challenge essentially is where you have to have 100 boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever you want to call them at the same time, I believe. So today whenever I logged on to build that build I was talking about, so when I logged onto The Sims, it showed in the newsfeed that she'd come up with a new challenge with The Sims 4. So I went on Instagram, congratulated her, also you should go follow me right down there. Anyways, sidetracking. I uploaded it to my Instagram story and I looked back on my messages and she literally reposted it. Holy cow. Now that might not seem like a lot, but she literally has 675,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I thought that she might not respond. Which I really didn't care if she didn't, but I was like, holy cow, I did not expect that. So that was a pretty fun experience. But anyways, as you can see, I'm just cluttering up the kitchen and working on it. Honestly, again, I always say this, but I literally love kitchens. They're just so much fun to build for me. It's also because I get to be very cluttered in The Sims 4. Also, why in The Sims 4, Sims can't just clutter up the place? In real life, you can clutter up things. And after all, this isn't life simulation. Also, I literally never use this, round table you can see, but I was so excited to use it. It looks so cute in that kitchen. And on top of that, I think I will include photos of the lovely Morrison family in case you didn't get a good picture from the photos I already put in here. I have a question for people. Is it more widely liked to build or to play in The Sims 4? I mean, most likely you can tell my answer, which is build, because, this channel is dedicated to building and maybe some Let's Plays once in a while. Also, I didn't really mention this before, but there is a Generation 4 that I did start, but never really finished, as I mentioned earlier. But honestly, after, just doing this whole thing, I might want to go back and start playing them again. That is, if I have any free time. I'm not even gonna lie, I think I've been playing The Sims more just for YouTube, but I actually like it a lot. While we're here, in case you do want to watch my legacy, I think I should give you a storyline for what I'm going for, in case it wasn't good enough in my actual Let's Play. So we have our main sim, Cynthia. Now her last name is Morrison, but I just haven't taken the time to actually give her a real last name yet. So instead I just went in with the filler one. Basically her storyline is that she's just a sim in the world that is, well, kind of lost and just blends in with everyone. She really hopes to be an artist one day, but is stuck to her desk at work. I mean, it is an artist job, but she's still stuck to her artist desk, I guess, at work. So basically what I'm gonna do is, she got the moodlet of Married for Money, where she has 7 days to get an inheritance. And basically that means she's rushing to get married because, well, she's broke and she has no money. So having maybe 20,000 simoleons is everything to her. Who does she decide to date in that time? Jay Huntington III. Yes, I said that, Jay Huntington III. This man is known to be a heartthrobber and a breaker. So do I know why I wanted her to date him? No one knows. But they did in their last episode go on a date and they had their first kiss. Cute, right? But little does Jay Huntington know that's not at all why we're going for this dating or marriage life. In fact, I think her true feelings are that she doesn't really like Jay Huntington at all. She's only doing it for the money. But again, she really doesn't care at the moment because she's not a compassionate person. See, I like my characters to be a lot more of, they're not goody two-shoes and they definitely have problems in their life. Their goal is to work through these problems and to come out as a better person. For example, Lila Morrison was a fashion designer, but this truly wasn't her real calling. She always wanted to be a writer and did writing on the side. She never made it far in her career, but was definitely a successful fashion designer. I think she always regretted not doing what she truly loved. So when she retired, that's all she did was writing. One of the main reasons I love making stories is because whenever you make a story, it feels like you're in a book, you know? You feel like you're involved in these characters' lives. Then maybe you're their best friend in real life or whatever you want. Just some kind of relationship connected to your character. One of the main things I do to help me get into these stories are having side characters. These basically are companions or friends that they just know. They can help build relationships or maybe even ruin some. Also, it's really fun. For example, having a ton of drama is always easier with that. Now, Cynthia may not have any side characters yet, but don't worry, I think she will one day. In real life, it takes time to build relationships, just the same as The Sims, except it doesn't. The relationship scale is screwed up. Literally, if you take a photo with someone, it increases your relationship by like 50 times. By that, modern teenagers should be like 100,000 with everyone. Anyways, out of the snobby stuff, we're talking about living rooms. Now, in this household, I would have definitely nowadays done the floor plan way differently. Now, of course, building takes time and practice of doing this, so of course I'm not going to be perfect every time. As literally, the first ever time I took a build seriously was like a year ago, and that's not much time to get good at it. At least that's my opinion. Earlier when I was editing, actually, I was looking through photos to put up on the screen, and I actually found some, and I remember I took a couple photos of the build, and I was like, oh my god, that was terrible. What I did to get good, actually, was follow tutorials of, like, Little Simsy. She did this one build on how to get good at building. And what I did is I just profusely followed it and learned how to build. And that's where we are today, building on my own, doing whatever I want. So honestly, it really doesn't take that much to learn how to build in The Sims 4. You just have to practice and actually learn how to do good. I think a couple of ways to get your build out there more is to have good lighting whenever you upload it to the gallery. Now, what stinks about the gallery is you can't have your own photos you take and upload to it. They have to do it for you, which I guess makes sense, because then some people would not take good photos, or I guess they would have some misleading photos. Personally, I have MC Command Center, a mod that allows you to be all technical in the game. So for example, you can change the weather, which is what I do. I always set it to heat wave. I do have the seasons pack though, so I guess that wouldn't work for some of you. When you set it to heat wave, personally I think it looks the best. The lighting just looks amazing for me. And that's actually what I do to get my thumbnail pictures too. It's all full circle, it connects everywhere. Fun fact, we're actually nearing the end towards the first floor, and then we move to the second floor. Personally, I think the second floor turned out way better than the first. I think the bedrooms show more of their personalities, and I think I'll get more into people's personalities whenever we move there. So anyways, now we're on to the second floor, and fun fact, while I was building this, they actually didn't have their third child yet, so it only has 2 children's bedrooms, but I just changed the older son's bedroom to have 2 children fit into it, which I think is fine. I mean, it's pretty common for siblings to share rooms anyway, so it wasn't like I was doing anything weird to them. This household has a lot of bathrooms in it. One of my biggest pet peeves is whenever I don't put enough bathrooms in a home because, oh my lord, all your Sims apparently always have to go to the bathroom at the same exact time. Or even like shower or something like that. So anyways, we're decorating Benny's room, which is, of course, the older son, and his whole style was being more sporty. He definitely liked sports a lot because he did some outside of school. I don't actually have university, though, or Discover University, which is another pack, and it includes soccer. Now, I wanted him to actually do soccer, but I couldn't. Anyways, here I am just putting down some more wallpapers and flooring. Honestly, this is the boring part. I should have cut this out, but you know what? I think it's fine to see the building process. I always wonder if I should include floor plans for the reason of, is it important to let people see building process? But when building a channel, I don't think it's a good idea because then whenever people see that huge watch time, then they're not going to want to watch. At least that's my theory. I mean, I could be wrong, but you know. Anyways, here we are continuing cleaning up his room. I imagine him more of like a messy teenager. I actually imagine both of the kids as messy teenagers, which makes sense. I mean, most teenagers are. He had only just aged up whenever we did this, so I just thought of him as still having, like, you know, some childish things in his room. But, you know, he wasn't fully out of that childhood age. So here I am finally including a painting here. I think I barely put any paintings anywhere. Again, due to the fact that it's just mostly photos. I noticed a trend throughout the generations that each generation got poorer actually, and I think that was because I don't think I actually deleted the homes every time, so you know, the money that's like $70,000 that they spent on a house before, I'm not deleting that because I think that the family still lives there. One of my favorite things to do though is to clutter up a couch or a chair. You can really see in my builds whenever I do like a front room, you know, you walk into, there's like always a chair somewhere and it always has a backpack or books on it. I don't know, it just gives me very cozy vibes. One of my least favorite things to do is build parent bedrooms, and it's because there's no personality in that. You're not a kid, you can't have a storyline. So what I like about legacies though is I already have a storyline going, so then I can actually have personality go into a room. And as you can see here, I'm decorating the parent's bedroom, which perfectly ties in. Not coincidental or anything. I imagine them just having a regular bedroom though, so nothing special. You do notice throughout the build I keep including stuff for like pets, and it's because they do have 2 cats actually. This is because they had a cat and a dog. Sadly, I think both of them passed away, but we move on. I actually don't know if I've actually uploaded this build to the gallery, but if I ever do upload it, that shelf from Eco Lifestyle won't let the parents get it or anyone get into the beds, so I did have to remove some stuff. So whenever you download the build, if you ever do, it is a lot less cluttered in the bedroom. And that's kind of the stinky thing, is because I wanted them to have a bigger backyard since my Sims never really go outside. And if there's nothing to do outside, then I don't really blame them. Anyways, here is Bailey's bedroom. She is actually a child during this recording, but during current times, she's a teenager. Due to that factor, her room is a lot more childish because I didn't really see her as too mature, if I'm being honest. I think my favorite room in this house actually is her bedroom though. I don't know, it just seemed very cozy, you know, I could see that. Actually, my storyline for her at the beginning was that she was a very girly person, but as I went through the build, I decided that to cancel that and make her more of a tomboy, which nothing wrong with being either. Also, I kind of wanted an excuse to use that dino bookshelf because I just love that dino bookshelf. Now, throughout the build, you can see I add more and more wall decals to her because I imagine her parents like, yeah, put whatever you want on there. Now, definitely they were more laid back. Like, her dad actually was a live streamer and like a gamer. Now, I don't have Get Famous, so not like the actual live streamer and YouTuber, but he just did live streaming online with like city living. And as I mentioned earlier, if I had, the mother, Naya, was actually a vet and she ran her own business, actually right next door. You can actually see in this clip, it's literally right there with the cars in the parking lot. I actually didn't have that much money for this build, and that was because I spent a lot on the vet clinic because I wanted it to make it really cool. Anyways, here I am adding the last final touches to the outside before I actually move on to the backyard and front yard. I always try to make the pathways fancy, but I always fail at doing it, making it look good. So instead I just made a chunky pathway. In the backyard, I believe there is a pool and some other extracurricular activities outside. Personally, for me, whenever I have like legacy homes or families I play with, I always make the backyards a little bit more messy, and that's because of the fact that it's more tailored towards my Sims style. Also, I could not figure out for the life of me what gate to use for this house. None of the gates ever match with this fence at all, so I always choose this iron one. Also, I literally always put in this dirt path under things because I just feel like it looks more realistic. Also, I think EA actually started that for once, except they did it with a lighter dirt. I always choose the darker dirt. Not me literally struggling to put it under the fence. It's always so hard to put it under that fence. I can never do it, and then I have to like keep doing it over and over. I honestly considered cutting it out, but then I decided against it, which I'm actually surprised by. You guys don't see it, but whenever I build these, I usually always cut things out, so that's always what happens. Anyways, I did use, in fact, debug landscaping because we could not afford real landscaping. And also, why not just do it free? I also have another question for EA. Why don't we actually have that blue patch of flowers? I literally always use it. I really did want this house to reflect their personality, so I definitely made it more messy, I think. And that's kind of what their whole life is, just kind of out of whack. I think this also goes back to the fact that it's a circle of life for me and drama and their whole life, so I always have to tie it in somewhere. And I guess I chose landscaping for this one. I think the more and more you guys see my older builds, you'll see as I get better and better, and just because of these maybe 5 builds I have backlogged, you'll see how much better it gets throughout the timing. Anyways, this backyard does in fact include a grill outside and a pool and just everything that you need. I believe that Alexander actually burned down the grill later. Also, again, because they were like kids and teens, you know, I just gave them some things that kids and teens would use. But anyways, guys, I really hope you did enjoy this video. I will see everyone later. Goodbye!